Airbus aircraft parts are transported using this Beluga cargo plane. But imagine when it comes to the world's largest passenger plane, the Airbus A380. Transporting its joint parts using any airplane is impossible, because no cargo plane has been built yet that can fit this mansion-like aircraft inside it. So then, how are the parts of the A380, made all across Europe, brought to Airbus's assembly unit? Welcome once again to Nobel's Creation. Viewers, Airbus is a European aircraft manufacturing company that produces 1,000 aircraft every year and delivers them to airlines around the world. If calculated, that means 3 new aircraft are made every day. More or less, Airbus has to produce 3 new aircraft daily, which is an unbelievable challenge. How are these aircraft actually made? That is a completely different story. But how do the different parts of these aircraft, which are made across different corners of Europe, reach Toulouse, France, where Airbus's main assembly unit is located?
Airbus's logistics system, combining sea, river, land, and air, is considered one of the most complex transport networks in the world. Its parts are made in different countries across Europe and then gathered in one place to form a large, beautiful aircraft. This is not an ordinary task, but the result of decades of unmatched engineering and logistics planning. In the 1960s, major European countries like France, Germany, Spain, and the UK came together with a new dream: to compete with the American aircraft manufacturer Boeing. Their goal was to form an alliance that could produce large commercial airplanes. But the biggest issue in this partnership was that Airbus's 11 production sites were spread across different countries in Europe. Each site has its own specific expertise, and each location produces a specific section. For example, in Hamburg, Germany, tail sections are made. In Saint-Nazaire, France, the central compartment and nose section are built. In the city of Broughton in England, wings are made. While in the city of Cadiz in Spain, there is a factory for tail components.
When all these factories complete the different parts of the aircraft, a new challenge begins. Because parts as large as a football field have to be transported to Toulouse. In the beginning, when the demand for Airbus aircraft was low, they used trucks and ships. This was a slow process, and it took months for parts to be delivered. But as demand increased, waiting months became a barrier to the company's growth, especially when they needed to produce 3 aircraft daily. To solve this problem, Airbus found a new and brilliant solution. In the Arctic Ocean, there is a whale whose sound echoes like a song. This whale is called the beluga whale. In 1994, inspired by this whale, Airbus built a new plane and named it Beluga. The purpose of this plane was only to transport large and heavy aircraft parts. The Beluga has features that are not found in a normal cargo plane. Talking about its size and capacity, the Beluga is 56 meters or 184 feet long, longer than a full Olympic swimming pool. Its height is 17 meters or 56 feet, making it as tall as a 7-story building. Its internal cargo space is so large that 182 Suzuki Alto cars can easily fit inside it. Talking about its loading system, its most special feature is its nose section, which opens upward like the hood of a car. Because of this, loading and unloading aircraft parts becomes very easy. A pair of Airbus A350 wings, each 32 meters long, fits easily inside the Beluga's fuselage. The price of this single pair of wings is 40 million euros, which is approximately 400 crore rupees. So even the slightest damage during loading can cause losses worth crores. That is why extreme caution is taken at every step for its safety. Talking about speed, the parts that used to take months to reach Toulouse by ships or trucks are now delivered within just 2 hours from one European site to another using the Beluga. Because of this high speed,
there is no interruption in Airbus's assembly line. After this success, in 2014, Airbus introduced an even better version called the BelugaXL. It has the capability to carry even more parts and larger components. Everything was going well. But then, in 2004, the world's largest passenger plane, the Airbus A380, was launched.
Its fuselage is 8.4 meters tall, and the width of the wings near the fuselage reaches up to 16 meters. Now the problem was that the BelugaXL, whose cargo compartment height is 7.5 meters, cannot fit either the A380's fuselage or its wings. And here it is important to mention that the fuselage, which is cylindrical, can be made in separate sections and joined later. But wings are built in one piece only because they contain fuel tanks and hydraulic lines, and the maximum stress is applied on the wings.
That is why they are made in one piece, so that no structural weakness or fuel leakage occurs. To transport the components of the new A380, Airbus even considered building a Beluga XXL. But there were many problems. They would have to redesign the aircraft and increase engine capacity, which would cost billions of euros. And since the A380 is so large that not every airline can operate it, its demand was quite low. So Airbus dropped the idea of the Beluga XXL. Now, Airbus had to find a new method. This is where the story of a super convoy begins. A journey through land, river, and sea routes. Airbus specially built roll-on, roll-off ships so that large and heavy parts could be transported easily. In these ships, parts are loaded and unloaded using wheels, which is why they are called ro-ro ships. One such ship is named City of Hamburg, which is 126 meters long and 20 meters wide, and its cargo space is 5 times larger than the Beluga XL. From the port of Hamburg in Germany, large Airbus sections are moved directly into the ship on rolling platforms. In this way, cranes are not even needed. This ship travels 1,600 kilometers from Hamburg to Saint-Nazaire in France. This journey is not easy, because storms and waves up to 5 meters high are very common in the North Sea. And if even the slightest damage happens to wings worth 400 crore due to movement in the sea, the company would have to rebuild the entire wing. That is why the ship's captain and crew check the cargo chains every 4 hours, and cameras monitor the cargo 24/7 so that there is no chance of any damage. After reaching Saint-Nazaire, there is a stopover, and from there, the parts are unloaded and placed onto specially designed barges. These barges carry the parts through the Garonne River to the city of Bordeaux in France. And here comes the biggest challenge. Because the Pont de Pierre Bridge exists on this river, whose arches are quite small. This 500-meter-long bridge was constructed in 1810, and its arches are not exactly the same size. Out of these, only arch number 9 has a width of 19 meters, through which the barges can pass, but there is only a gap of a few inches on both sides. The width problem is solved, but the height of the arches depends on the water level. Even though this part of the river is 60 kilometers away from the Atlantic Ocean, the water level still depends on ocean tides. Under normal conditions, the water level is high, making it impossible for the barges to pass. But every 12 hours, the captain gets only a 3-minute window of opportunity when the tide becomes low. If they miss this opportunity, the entire convoy has to wait for 12 hours, and Airbus's entire schedule gets delayed. To solve this, adjustable platforms were installed on the barges, so they could pass even during low tide. This was a small part of the logistics system, but extremely important. Now let's move to the land journey, because Toulouse is still 250 kilometers away from Bordeaux. This journey begins with 50-meter-long super trucks.
each truck has a 650 horsepower engine and 96 wheels. Airbus parts are transported to the Toulouse assembly unit using these trucks. But this is not an easy task. To reduce traffic, the convoy only moves at night. Highways and city roads are closed at night, and a team of 40 people, including police, escort cars, and engineers, accompanies it. The most challenging part is navigating small city roundabouts and tight corners. A wing extending 15 meters behind the truck passes just centimeters away from lampposts, trees, and buildings. Finally, when the parts reach the Toulouse assembly unit, they are assembled within hours using high-tech systems. An A380 requires more than 19,000 rivets to join the fuselage and more than 4,000 rivets to attach the wings. After engines, electronics, interiors, and paint, the aircraft is completely ready for delivery. It takes approximately 9 months to complete an A380, including production, transportation, and assembly. So far, only 251 Airbus A380 units have been built, because operating it is not feasible for every airline. Interestingly, 50% of these units are owned by Emirates Airline alone. This aircraft can carry up to 850 passengers at once. Its takeoff weight is around 575,000 kilograms, which is equal to the combined weight of 300 SUVs. Talking about price, one A380 costs $445 million, which is approximately 3,800 crore rupees. At this price, you could buy 5 Boeing 737 aircraft. Next time when you travel on an Airbus, you will surely know with what passion and teamwork it was built and how it was transported through such challenges. Hope you will like and share this video. Thank you very much for your love and comments. See you in the next amazing video.